What is up, everybody? Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. As always, before we continue, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. Today, we're going to be playing with a very interesting collected company Jund deck. It's actually a deck list that I found on Twitter from the person who is currently tied for the trophy lead along with Aspiring Spike. Y Principe, I believe their Twitter handle is Y. I think it's just Y Principe. And they posted a 5-0 with this deck list, and I believe somebody else, tweeted at them, posting that they also 5-0 with this deck list. So this deck list has 2 posted 5-0s that I've seen on Twitter, so it must be broken. We gotta try it. I mean, it looks interesting, to say the least. If anything else, it looks very interesting. So we're a collected company deck, and what are we hitting? Well, we have a plethora of really powerful 3-drops. So we have Bone Crusher Giant, Seasoned Pyromancer. They're sort of the staples of, Obosh Red and Ponza that you've seen in the past. So we got those. We got some Lightning Skelementals, and then we also have Grist the Hunger Tide. So for those of you who don't know Grist, for some reason, Magic Online's not letting me... hold on, I'm actually going to do this real quick. It's not letting me make the cards bigger, so let's do this so you can kind of see. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so for those of you who don't know Grist, it is a Planeswalker. However, it has a little bit of a text box there. It says as long as it isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types, which means that you can collected company into it. So this deck looks like it has 27 hits for company. It actually has 31 because the 4 Grist count as company hits, which is pretty awesome. And also, there's going to be situations where you like company into Grist plus maybe Skelemental, and then you also have access to Unearth, which Unearth can also rebuy Grist because it's a creature in the graveyard. So there's a lot of cool things that we're doing with Grist here. And also, the +1 mill a card and make a 1/1. We can mill over more stuff to be able to Unearth back into play, like Skelementals. We can also mill over Croxes. We can also mill over Seasoned Pyromancers, and then we also have 1 copy of Splinter Fright here. I'm not 100% sold on this one. It's a pretty... There are some matchups where they're just not going to be able to kill this thing ever. Like, if you're playing against a deck that has a lot of damage-based removal, like Unholy Heat and Lightning Bolt, you get this thing to like an 8/8 or a 10/10, it's just impossible for them to kill it. So, I could see matchups where it's good. But I think that is kind of on the chopping block, as you will. And then we got 1 Plague Engineer as well. I understand where Plague Engineer is good. I just don't think there's enough matchups in the format that you might want Plague Engineer. So again, I'm copy pasting this deck list because it's that's the person who 5-0. I wanted to try out the deck list before I made any changes. But I can already see, I think there are going to be some spots where I maybe don't want the Splinter Fright, don't want the Plague Engineer. I kind of want more copies of Ragavan, because that's just, the most powerful 1-drop in the format right now. So, looking towards potentially doing that, but we'll see how everything plays out before I decide to make any changes. And then obviously 4 copies of Collected Company. Mana bait's pretty straightforward. One thing I will note, we're playing a Basic Forest because we're a Magus of the Moon. We have Magus of the Moon in our sideboard. However, Basic Forest, really awkward when you're trying to hardcast Lightning Skelemental and escape Croxa. So there is a bit of tension there. I don't know if it's something that maybe you want to put the Forest in the sideboard. We'll hopefully kind of see in the league how many times that it sort of comes back to bite us that we have the Basic Forest with Skelemental and Croxa. So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully it doesn't cost us too much, but I understand why there's a Forest because of the Maguses, but I just don't know that it's worth it with Skelemental and Croxa. And then rounding out the deck, we also have Endurance, which is, again, excuse me, one of the better 3-drops right now. You'll see this. You'll see this in Elementals decks, Rhinos decks. It just a variety of different strategies. It's good against Mill. It's good against Living End. Just any graveyard deck. It's good against Dragon's Rage Channeler. There's just so many decks that Endurance covers, and the fact that it's not only does it have all of these awesome applications, but it's also just a 3/4 flash reach for 3. So it's just completely a completely reasonable card to hardcast. Just an awesome card right now. Big fan of it. And then, we've gone over the Unearth. So that is the main deck. And then as far as the sideboard is concerned, we got some, again, aforementioned Magus of the Moon and Force of Vigor for your Urza Saga decks. The 4th copy of Endurance, because there's a lot of matchups for that card's good. And you can kind of, pick and choose, swap the Plague Engineer and the Splinter Fright for, like, the 4th copy of, Endurance and stuff like that. Crawl Harpooner, which I imagine is good against Murktide Regent and Dragon's Rage Channeler, because it's, just a sort of a removal spell that kills a flyer. Also, again, we're doing this over something like Plummet or, Run Afoul, Broken Wings, because we're a Collect a Company deck. So we can actually collect a company into a removal spell for their flyer, which is kind of cool. Collector Oof for, most of the Hammer Time, decent against Hammer Time, decent against Affinity, decent against most of the Urza Saga decks, and Tron. And then Crime Punishment, also another... wish I could make these bigger. Crime Punishment, also just another awesome card against the Urza Saga decks, because you can cast the Punishment half, X equals 0, you can blow up Construct tokens, you can blow up Ornithopters, Memnites, stuff like that. So Punishment is a very, no pun intended, punishing card. Or maybe there was pun intended. Anyways, that is the deck list. I think I've gone over pretty much everything I want to go over, so let's not keep you waiting. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 1. Alrighty, YouTube, we are here for round number 1 of our league with Jund Collected Company. And it's a 1-lander, but I'm going to keep this hand on the draw. We have 2 mana dorks, and we're on the draw, so as long as we hit our second land, we should be good to go. Basic Island with Lurrus. Is this Mill, perhaps? I'm considering leading on fetch land, and the reason two reasons I want to lead on fetch land. I guess really just one. The reason you want to lead on fetch lands in a matchup like this, if they are playing mill, is you want to get them into a position where they have the least number of the least number of opportunities to cast Archive Trap. So, like for example, in this spot, if I fetch next turn, I'm giving them a draw step plus potentially a cantrip to find, another copy of Archive Trap. So the earlier you fetch, the better it is, and most of the time, if they want to trap you, they're going to trap you, because they also have, what's the card called? Field of Ruin. So most of the time, they're just going to be able to sort of force it anyways, so you might as well fetch as early as possible. So this turn, we're probably just going to go Stomp the Crab and play a Birds of Paradise. So let's just go play Stomping Ground. Cast Birds. There is something to be said about, I'm trying to think. Something to be said about waiting to Stomp the Crab, because they might go to crack the fetch end step. But if they don't, and I let them untap, and then I do it on their turn, they can have drawn in the lock. So I think I'd rather just get it out of here now, just guaranteed. I understand that, they're just going to fetch in response here. I get that, but... I could have also unearthed the Clothis instead of playing Birds, but that doesn't guarantee I can cast Company next turn. I'm not sure if that's better or worse. I guess it also leaves the Birds as an extra green card in my hand for Endurance Pitch. I'm not sure what is correct there. I feel like guaranteeing I can cast the Collected Company for 4 mana next turn is pretty good. I mean, they're probably just going to pass with their mana up, right? Tashes? Ooh, Fractured Sanity, I like that. So we're on 30 cards. I'm not going to cast Endurance quite yet. Drew a Croxa. Got a variety of options here. I believe I just want to cast... I could cast Endurance. Or excuse me, I could cast Unearth on Lightning Skelemental, attack for 7, and then cast Bone Crusher Giant. And then leave myself with the option to pitch cast Endurance, as well as just cast it for full value on my upkeep. Could also flashback Croxa. I kind of like the Unearth Skelemental line, although this is worse if they have a Surgical Extraction. But if they're Surgicaling Lightning Skelemental and not Endurance, I think I'm happier with that. So I think I like this. Just attack for 7, get 2 cards out of their hand. Just kind of deny them some resources, and then cast Bone Crusher. Or actually, what if we just main phase the Endurance? So the thing about holding up Endurance is if I cast Bone Crusher, and let's say they go to cast Visions of Beyond, I want to pitch cast Endurance in response. And if I do that... this is tough. This is a tough spot. They're 12. So if I cast Bone Crusher... Hmm. I feel like it's maybe a little bit risky to cast Bone Crusher here, but I think it's also fine. Yeah, my fear is they're gonna lead on visions, and I'm gonna pitch cast Collected Company in response, and then they're just gonna drown and lock the company or the endurance. Excuse me, can't speak today. Hmm. Maybe I messed this up. I'm just gonna let that go. I think that's fine. I mean, them drawing 3 cards is not the greatest thing in the world, but so maybe a casting endurance would have been better. I mean, my only fear about casting endurance is then we lose the Croxa. Maybe that's just not relevant because we have another Croaks in our hand, and they're likely just going to mill us anyways. Yeah, that might have just been bad. I probably shouldn't have done that. It's like here I kind of have to draw a green card so I can play Company and Endurance. Didn't draw a green card, so now I kind of have to time walk myself. Well, that's not true. I can just cast Croxa from the graveyard. That's pretty good. So I can just attack for 5 and play a Croxa. Maybe they like Field of Ruin Fatal Push my Bone Crusher Giant? Hmm. Well, I could just cast Company now. I mean, if I was going to do this, I should have just played Company on my main phase, and then just hold up Endurance for my upkeep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I screwed this up kind of badly. What I should have done was probably just cast Company, and then if they like mill my entire deck, then I can just cast Endurance on my upkeep. Maybe they'll cast a Visions here, and then I'll just slam the Endurance. They have 4 cards. Alright, so take 5. Play land, play Croxa. Black, black, red, red. I'm actually going to exile the Endurance from my graveyard, so they can't Surgical me. Does that make sense? Hmm. I think so. I still leave 3 in my deck. I just want to make it so they can't like lead on Surgical on Endurance. That's kind of why I'm doing this. So they discarded Fatal Push. Okay, 3 cards. So they have to somehow get into a situation, trap us. So I can let the trap happen, and now I can pitch cast Endurance, and that should be good enough. I want to do it while they're tapped out. I know they could have more traps, but I think it just makes sense to do it now. And then I'm also going to fetch, because their trap's already turned on. But I just want to resolve this while they're tapped out. I feel like this makes sense. Opponent said mill, and anyways. Opponent was asking why I have a dead card in my main deck. Mill is 4% of the meta. Well, it's not necessarily a dead card against a lot of strategies. So we're going to bring in the 4th Endurance. We're going to cut Plague Engineer. Alright, anyways. Is there anything else I want to do? Magus of the Moon. This seems like it would be a Splinter Fright matchup. Magus of the Moon turns off Field of Ruin. I don't know if that's good enough, though. I'm just going to submit this. YouTuber here for game number 2 against Bill. Well, I got a Ragavan and I got an Endurance, so I think I'm good to go. I think I will go ahead and keep this hand. I won't bother you with the chats. All right, opponent is mulligan to 5. We'd like to see that. I will say there is a bit of tension between, playing turn 1 Ragavan and then Skelemental, ramping into Skelemental post-combat with Ragavan. It is kind of awkward. They had the Ragavan killer, which is unfortunate for me. O3s do a very good job at blocking Ragavan, I will say. So, we need to find something to do with that. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern is their answer to Endurance. Right. See if they block. They are going to block. It's fine. Alright. Block resolves. I'm going to play Copperline Gorge. Probably going to cycle this Unearth end step because they already have the Lantern in play. So I don't really think this Unearth is doing much for me. Although the Unearth could force them into a spot where they want to Lantern me. Like if I cast the Unearth, bait the Lantern, and then slam Endurance. But I think I'd rather just cycle it. I think. Surgical Encroxa. It's annoying, but sure, it's fine. Milled over the Splinter Fright. No! I wanted that one. Alright. Well, are they going to get Lightning Skelemental? They may have Fatal Push, but if they have Fatal Push, they're forced to sack the Lantern to turn on, what you call it? Revolt. That's the thing I was looking for. That's the word. Words are tough. Sometimes. All the time. Alright, I'm going to slam the Skelemental. Need to get black mana. Red, red, black. So let's see what they do. They may sacrifice the Lantern and Fatal Push it. Is this an Aether Gust? No. Fractured Sanity. Okay. They milled over 2 Collecting Companies. Would have liked to draw that. I don't know. There's some world where maybe they want to... Yeah, I don't know. It's not like the Ragavan being tapped really matters. Archive Trap me. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks. Would have been nice to have not been forced to fetch there. But now they're on no cards. They do have a Field of Ruin, so if they draw a fetch land, they can mill me for 9, because they go land, fetch trigger, and then field. How many Endurances do we have left? So we have 2 Endurances left in our deck. This is pretty unfortunate because we just need to find, like, some gas. I'm just going to discard 2 lands here. Discard the fetch lands. I don't want to turn on... Well, I guess the fetch lands are... Oh, Jesus. Alright, well, your turn. This is unfortunate. Alright, so there's an island. Still have 2 Endurances. What I need to somehow set up is, like, Endurance, force the activation on Soul Guide, and then Endurance again. That's how I'm going to get out of this. That is the only way I'm going to get out of this, I think. Oh, that's also pretty good. So that puts them to 1. But it also means I don't get to cast Endurance. Yeah, but it makes them discard their Lura, so I think it's good. Yeah, I'm just gonna attack with everything. It's the 4th Skelemental, by the way. So they block Ragavan, go to 1. They have to discard the Lurrus. They could draw Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I don't know if it's lethal. What's my total? I don't want to count my total mana cost. All 4 of my companies are gone, but... Crypt Incursion, you'll love to see that. Love to see that being discarded. They do have a redraw with Lantern if they brick. But... Alright, I guess that means they're not dead. Unearth would have actually been quite good here, because Unearth would have forced the Lantern, and then we could have just... Oh, well, never mind, they're dead. Alright, 1 and 0. 1 and 0, see if we can keep it going. Yeah, I mean, Game 1 we Endurance them. Game 2 was a little bit closer. They did have the answer for Endurance, but we, got pretty lucky with Skelemental hits and just kind of took it over from there. I don't know what else to say. Anyways, 1 and 0. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, we're here for round number 2. I've been debating on this hand. On the draw against the Lurrus, I don't really think we can keep a hand that doesn't do anything until turn 4. Well, technically we have a 2-drop we can cycle here, but I'm going to mulligan this. We have a lot of mana acceleration. Yeah, I think this hand's a lot better. I'm actually... think I'm going to put back a land. I think I'm going to put back the Overgrown Tomb. On the draw with 2 lands and a Hierarch, I don't mind keeping a 2-lander. There's a chance that the Hierarch dies, but... We're playing against Mill again? What's with all the mill? I mean, I can't complain because I have Endurance main deck, but... I guess this could be a Grixis Lurrus deck. Alright, cool. Not mill. I don't think mill usually plays discard spells. Grixis Lurrus, huh? I feel like this matchup is decent for us, but... So we have a lot of, like, card advantage-y type stuff with... Skelemental, Pyromancer, Bone Crusher, Giant, Collected Company. We have a lot of good top end. And they took the Unearth. I will play my Mana Dork. Hopefully it doesn't die, although I kind of expect it to. Drawing a land's not too bad. Although Plague Engineer is not great in this matchup. Ooh, that's a really good one. I think I'm just going to cast that, and if it resolves, discard the 2 creatures. I want to keep land 4 for company, and it just puts more stuff into play, more pressure. That was a really good draw, though, because I didn't really want to cast either of these. Yeah, it kind of feels weird to discard 2 spells. Maybe that was bad. Although, like, these spells aren't great. Just putting some 1/1s into play is kind of dope. Maybe they have a Ragavan that they didn't want to play because I had Plague Engineer. So maybe that's a reason to keep the Plague Engineer. But, I mean, the Pyromancer also kind of shuts that off, right? If I make 2 1/1s, they... Okay. Anyways, it looks like they're playing Sultai and not Grixis. Maybe 4-color? I don't know. We'll see. Snapcaster Inquisition. So they get my Hierarch. Hopefully we draw Collected Company. Or Skelemental, or another Pyromancer. Or an Unearth would be okay. We can get back the Splinter Fright. It's pretty good too. I am just going to attack first. I think I'm just going to leave... Yeah, I'm just going to leave back the Hierarch. I'm going to attack with all 3 of these. So they might block the Pyromancer, they might not. Kind of fine either way. Yep, that's fine. Then something like a Soul Guide Lantern. Alright, green, black. Plus. Go. This can also start milling over Crocuses, which is kind of cool. I like our spot. Also not clear how many answers they have to Grist. They have like Abrupt Decay or something like that. And now we can just hold up Now we can just hold up Seasoned Pyromancer mana. Oh, well that's pretty good too. I don't want to cast it into their counter mana, so I'm just gonna activate Grist and hold up Pyromancer. We can kind of just take over the game that way. One thing I will note, if you're casting Company in this deck, you usually want to cast it main phase because of Lightning Skelemental. But maybe there's a situation where I just, like, if they tap out, maybe I fire it off end step or something like that. But as long as they leave mana untapped, I'm just gonna, take advantage with Grist and Season Pyromancer. No real reason to do anything else. Drown in the Lock. Oh, so they have a sweeper? It's gotta be what this means, right? So if I float a mana and activate Pyromancer, then they get to cast their sweeper. Well, I could also just let this resolve, and then let their sweeper resolve, and then end step Company, which is what I'm gonna do. It's a way better plan. Like, I'm not just gonna activate the Pyromancer into their, very obvious sweeper. Because why else would they draw on a Hierarch unless they weren't casting a sweeper? Going to 10. Alright, so it looks like it is 4-color. Lightning Bolt the Grist. Sure. And then they're passing? Okay. Sure. I will also just pass. Plus. I mean, I don't really have to do anything, right? They're the ones who have to act. I mean, I guess the awkward part about this is if they go land 6, sweeper, hold up counterspell. Maybe that's what their plan is. Would have been nice to draw a land there, maybe. Snap removal spell, sure. Fine. Kill some tokens. I'm surprised they didn't snap bolt the Grist. Maybe they have another bolt as their last card? I don't know. Alright, your turn. Alright, token down. Yep, that's fine. I don't know. I thought they had a sweeper, but maybe they don't. Maybe their last card's just a counterspell. I mean, even if it is, I just don't have to play into it, Alright, so now they're going to bolt the Grist, which is fine. I'm just going to cast the Company now. It is going to suck if I hit... Well, wait, hold on. How is Skelemental worded? It's at the beginning of the next end step, right? So if I EOT the Company, I can still hit it. I believe that's how it's worded. I'm like 99% sure. We're going to find out. Well... Alright, we only got a Croxa, so they go to 4... Okay. I will attack. Okay, they're off it. I actually don't think I was going to cast the Croaks. I think I was just going to hold up Pyromancer, but I guess they realized they just couldn't win anyways. Okay, so for sideboarding, against 4-color Lurrus Control, I would assume Magus of the Moon is pretty good, although they have Lightning Bolt. Magus of the Moon a little bit worse against Lightning Bolt, but it does shut off almost... They have a lot of colors in their deck. Endurance is decent against Lurrus decks. Probably don't want this Plague Engineer. We don't want the Splinter Fright. And... What else don't I want? Everything else is pretty good. I want to bring in... I kind of want to bring in the 3 Magus and the Endurance. Yeah, maybe Magus is just bad against Lightning Bolt. Like, there are going to be spots where it's decent, but it's not like they're cutting Lightning Bolt against my, 30 creature deck. All my cards are pretty good. Could trim on some of the mana dorks. Maybe the extra mana dork can go. Like, it's more removal. Like, the theory being you want just more threats than mana dorks, and you don't want to have a bunch of bad draws. Yeah, I don't really know what I want to do here. They could have Channeler. Maybe I want Harpooner. Let's just bring in a Miser's Magus. I don't know what else to cut. Maybe you could cut, like, the Ragavans, but Ragavan seems good. I don't think I want to cut Ragavan in a matchup like this. It seems like, from a, like, structural deck building standpoint, our the way that our deck is constructed is, like, pretty heavily favored in a matchup like this. I think the choke point is just mana, and that's kind of why I don't mind keeping all the mana dorks. Like, I think the longer the game goes, the more favored we are. Yeah, this hand's dope. I'm gonna put back the second endurance. So, see what they have. Hopefully we just get to go Hierarch into Grist and kind of do some stuff that way. Oh, they probably have push. Ooh. Well, the one Magus, the Uno Magus coming in to save the day. I don't really know if we're saving the day with it, because I don't know that I want to cast it, but we'll see. I could imagine a world where they just go, I don't know, like, tap land go, and then I'm just going to windmill it. Steam Vents. I'll be killing Hierarch. Yeah, terminate resolves. Okay. Alright. Foothills go. Kind of awkward to draw the forest here. Because I kind of wanted to get... I wanted to find a fetch that found Swamp. Because then I could go... Well, I guess they wouldn't have red mana then. If I went Overgrown Tomb, Forest, Swamp, then I wouldn't have red mana to play the Magus. But I kind of want to Magus them. And just make them have Bolt or Bust. Like, if they just go Shockland, put Lurrus in hand, pretty sure I'm just going to play Magus. Yeah. Especially because we have the red mana already, or the green mana. So now if I draw a land that gets basic Swamp, which I didn't, but, I mean, it's just like, they can't function with this in play, right? So they have to kill it. And I have other stuff to cast, you know? Like, if they just don't have a Bolt, this game's probably over. I mean, there's a good chance they do have a Bolt, but... Basic Swamp. Okay. I accept. So this one, they just leave the Magus in play? Well, I mean, maybe. You know. So that's a possibility. I don't really want to just cast a Bone Crusher Giant, because I want to save the Stomp for Lurrus. Because I'm assuming worst case scenario where they just kill the Magus. So I'm just going to pass. They didn't kill the Magus. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm supposed to cast Bone Crusher Giant there to just, like, put some pressure on them. They drew basic, huh? Okay. Like, I could end-step Stomp them? Which maybe I should do. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, I think I like end-step Stomp them, because I do kind of want to cast this Bone Crusher. Because it seems to me that they... I don't know if they don't have an answer to the Magus, or if they just don't want to kill it. Because maybe they can just play the game with the Magus in play. So maybe I just should not have cast it. Alright, play land first. Because there's a good chance if they go to, like, randomly kill the Magus in combat, I might just want to cast Company. But I think now I'm just going to hold up the Company. Especially if they're tapping mana here. Oh, maybe not. Pretty sure they have Drown. If they can't drown the Magus, because I only have 2 cards in my graveyard. Alright, I'm going to hold up Company. Hmm. Seal of Fire. Okay. Interesting they tapped Darkslick Shores, because now they can't lure us. Maybe they didn't want to lure us anyways. So they want, man, maybe I was supposed to respond to the Seal of Fire and cast the Company. But what they want to do is they want me to cast the Company here, because what they're going to do is seal the Magus and then cast a counterspell. But then I might be able to resolve Grist, so I think that's okay. Because now they just kill the Magus in response, get blue mana, counter the Company. But again, I think... Oh. Okay. Well, we do get to hit them with a Hierarch. Or, excuse me, a Skelemental. Because this is at the beginning of the end step. So now they probably have to seal the Skelemental, right? Well, that's not true. They might just have a removal spell. They could just, like, seal this, kill the Skelemental. No reason to do anything pre-combat, so let's just go to attacks. Attack with both, I think. I could have just attacked with the Skelemental, but that's much worse against the Seal. If I only attack with this, then they just sack it here. Okay, they are doing that. Kind of okay with that. So they're going to leave the Magus in play for a turn. But now I can just cast Grist, which I'm going to do. I can cast Grist and Bonecrusher Giant. Maybe I should have led on Bonecrusher to, like, beta counterspell. Should have probably done that. I didn't think about that. If they had Drown, maybe they drown the Bonecrusher, not knowing I have Grist. So sequencing was probably bad here. Yep. Alright, your turn. They're at 7. They have Aluris in hand, but they've yet to show me that they can actually kill this Magus. So, we'll see. I mean, they had Seal of Fire last turn, but they decided they had to end up killing the Skelemental instead. So, they drew another basic swamp. Well, that's not good for me. Man, I don't know if they had the basics in their hand, and maybe they just, like, had a feeling that I had, you know what I mean? Like, they wanted me to play the Moon Effect. I mean, obviously, they don't know that I have Magus in my sideboard, but just, like, really, really annoying. They ended up just drawing back-to-back basics, it seems like. Okay, that was good. That was good. Alright, I will attack you for 6. Actually, maybe it's better to just attack with Bonecrusher. It's worse against Bolt, but it's better against the Seal if they want to kill the Magus. Nah. Although, if they had Bolt, they probably would have bolted the Magus a while ago, right? Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to only attack with Bonecrusher. This might have been dumb. They have 3 cards. I think I'm just going to cast Croxa. Kind of a little bit worried about a sweeper. That's why I don't want to cast the Bonecrusher. This still kind of puts them in an awkward spot, because we can flash it back next turn. They can't discard lands. So they have to discard spells to the Croxa, which is pretty good. Nope, never mind. They have Cling to Dust. Okay. So now they can discard a land and go to 3. Sure. Cling to Dust pretty powerful against us, but I feel like it might be a little bit too slow this game. Alright, Mishra's Bauble is fine. They bobble themselves. What's this? Blue, black, red. Explosives on 3. Okay, so that kills the Bone Crusher Giant. Then we can just replace it with its long-lost brethren. Alright. Attack you with my Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, they're going to pop the explosives. So I think I kind of want to Endurance now. Although it's worse if they draw another explosives. But I kind of want to get this Cling out of their graveyard. Kind of want to get this Cling out of their graveyard. I don't know if... maybe this is dumb. It's also better against Kolaghan's Command. A little bit worse against the Counterspell, but... yeah, maybe this line is just too bad if they have a second explosives, but... what's this? Unholy Heat. I guess I didn't think about that one either. But it is a little bit worse against that. Alright. Just gonna... so they're gonna fetch in response. Okay. Our Croxa was exiled, so we don't have access to that anymore. Well, they're at 2 and we have a Bone Crusher Giant in play, which means they have to draw a removal spell that does not target it, which I guess would be explosives. So, they could draw explosives, but I feel like there's not many other outs. What's this? Expressive Iteration. Well, that's a pretty good one. But they still need explosives, right? Because they can't target the Bone Crusher. I guess they could find a blocker. Snapcaster. Drown is not going to do it. Okay, they're off it. Cool. 2-0. 4-color, I guess like Grixis with some green control. It's a weird matchup, but again, I think just structurally our deck is probably a pretty big favorite in a matchup like this. So, we're 2-0. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, we're here for round number 3 of our League with Jund Collected Company. I mean, this hand seems pretty good, right? Turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Pyromancer, potentially turn 3 Company. I believe our opponent's on Etron. Yeah, it looks like they are on Etron. We get some Magus of the Moons. Plague Engineer, probably not a good draw. Let's see what they... yeah, that's bad. That's bad. They kept 7, so I assume whenever my Etron opponent keeps 7, they just have Natural Tron. Doesn't appear that that's what they have, but we don't have much going on here. So we will pass. A second. Matter Reshaper, unbeatable. Cannot defeat a Matter Reshaper. Let's just get... I want to get a Black Source into play. I think I'm going to cast Pyromancer. I could play Plague Engineer here. Is that good? Name Eldrazi. And then they play a 3/3 Thought-Knot Seer, take Company, and then I can start casting Pyromancers. It also trades with Eldrazi, or excuse me, Reality Smasher. Yeah, maybe it's actually better. It's better than I think it is, maybe. They have an Urza's Saga. Okay. Yeah. So they take Company. Maybe we'll draw another Company? Perhaps? Maybe? No blocks. No blocks. Alright, let's just go... excuse me, my throat is killing me today. I don't really think I want this Hierarch. I'm going to discard Hierarch land. Okay. Those aren't bad, all things considered. No attacks to hold back the Thought Knot Seer. And they have Smasher, we can trade for that. They have another Thought Knot Seer. It's bad. That's not great. Well, they probably take Skelemental. I mean, they only have 3 cards. Maybe they just don't even care about the Skelemental? I'm not sure. A bit of a weird spot. Yeah, they took Skelemental. Alright, we need to find a company. We need to find a company. Very badly. Alright, we'll get Blood Crypt tapped. Company. Alright, classic Thoughtseize bug. They have 3 cards. I guess I'll just cast that. I think I'm only attacking with that. Yeah. I don't want to trade Engineer for Matter Reshaper, and they are choosing to block, so they take 5, go to 11. I guess they just want the Matter Reshaper trigger, which makes sense. Eldrazi Temple, and they're discarding. What do we get? Karn and a map. Okay. So they probably have another card in their hand as their last card. Because I can't imagine they would not want Karn on this board, right? Yeah, their last card has to be another Karn. At least that's what I would assume. Maybe All Is Dust? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it could be All Is Dust. So it's probably going to get map. Do they have anything? Oh, they have the collar. I can get the collar, maybe. They feel like they're behind on life enough. It does allow them to race a little bit more effectively. But it's not like they're even attacking if they get the collar, right? Because they still don't want to trade Thought Knot Seer for Plague Engineer. It's not really a good trade for them. So. I also could have cast Pyromancer last turn, but given that they took the Lightning Skelemental with the Thought Knot Seer the turn prior, kind of assumed that meant they didn't have a removal spell, so I wanted to sort of get in while the getting's good kind of thing. Just like guarantee I get my hit in. Because it's so unlikely for them to have an answer for it if they took the first one. Like if they had Dismember, they probably would have just taken Pyromancer. Yeah, a Saga. Okay. And Karn? No. Smasher, huh? That's the card they kept over Karn? Or maybe they just drew the Smasher. Interesting. I mean, I'll take the trade all day. Happily take that trade, because the Pyromancer and the Bone Crusher can still kind of hold off the Thought Knot Seers. I will happily take that trade. Honestly, if they're making this attack, they should probably just attack with maybe everything? Because if they attack with the Smasher and a Thought Knot Seer, I would still more likely trade for the Smasher. You know, like I guess I could then double block a Thought Knot Seer. Okay, well that was a good draw. We're going to cast that one. Main phasing it in case I hit some Skelementals, which I did. And I want a Seasoned Pyromancer or a Splinter Fright. Splinter Fright is going to be a 5/5. Kind of want the Splinter Fright. Yeah, because it just gets through the Thought Knot Seer pretty effectively. This gets their last card, and then this dies, and we get a 5/5. So that was pretty good. I guess they could just double block. No, they didn't double block. Alright, so that dies, 5/5. They have no cards. They do have an Urza Saga, but we have a very, very large Splinter Fright. Alright, so mill 2 from the Splinter Fright. This thing mills 2, right? Yep. 7/7. You love to see it. Let's just go. Let's just go to attacks. Attack with everything, I think. Yeah, I think everything's good. What I can also do is I can set up some really cool things. I can do stomp my own Seasoned Pyromancer in combat. So they're just dead, right? They take 4, go to 1. Alright, stomp you. Cool. Alright, we got game number 1. So, game number 2 against Eldrazi Tron. Let's see what we're doing over here. Endurance, not really necessary. Force of Vigor's good. Magus of the Moon is good. And I believe that might be it. Crime Punishment. So this is each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value X. I mean, it is 2 mana to blow up at Urza Saga. It also kills constructs, it kills maps. It kills some Karn targets, like sometimes it kills Ballista. I don't really care about Chalice that much, so I'm not, I'm not really kind of here for it for Chalice, but the Engineer I think is also reasonable. So I think some number of these cards are good. These cards I think are bad. You could maybe talk me into Oof, but what else is bad against them? I'm not a huge fan of Ragavan on the draw against Matter Reshaper, so I think I'm going to cut Ragavans. And this is 55. I could also cut Unearth because A, it's bad against Chalice, and B, they probably will bring in Graveyard Hate. So what if I also cut the Unearth? And this is 9 cards. Well, this is 10. So cut the Klothys? What if I did this? How does this look? So this is 25 plus 4 Grist is 29 company hits, and then we have Force, Crime Punishment. Bone Crusher is essentially a 2-drop. Alright, I like this. This is 60 cards. I'm going to go with this. We'll see how this plays out. I like the way it looks. We have... Oh man, this hand's loaded. Hierarch, we can Crime Punishment, a Saga. We have... Yeah, this hand's awesome. This hand is awesome. Let's see what they got. Temple. Temple, go. Alright, let's do the same thing as last game. Do they have the Dismember? Seems like they do. Yeah, they do. Hopefully they play an Urza Saga this turn. Because I will probably cast Crime Punishment if they do. Well, they didn't. Question is, do I want to play the Bone Crusher or play the Stomp here? I want to hold it up because if they play Thought-Knot Seer, I kind of think I'm just going to stomp them in response because I want the 4/3 body to be able to interact with Thought-Knot Seer. Well, they have Smasher, which is a lot worse for me. Okay, take 5. They're on 3 cards. So we need to draw a red source of mana here very badly. Because I need to be able to cast Pyromancer into Grist. Well, my hand looked pretty good until my Hierarch got dismembered and I couldn't cast a spell. So I guess we're dead. Oh, okay, they just have Double Smasher. We don't have any outs, right? Yeah, we don't have any outs. Well, that sucks. Okay. I still like how I sideboarded, so we're just going to do the same thing back for game number 3. Maybe Ragavan on the play. Over what, though? Maybe Ragavan on the play is good. Maybe over like some Bone Crusher Giants. Okay, let's try that. I mean, the thing about Bone Crusher Giant is it just matches up so poorly against Battery Shaper and Reality Smasher. It's only good against exactly Thought-Knot Seer, but it's just kind of marginal against a lot of their other stuff. Ooh, a turn 2 Skelemental, huh? On the play, nonetheless. I'm in. I am in. They have Dismember for the third game in a row? They don't. Or maybe they're choosing to hold it for the Skelemental. I mean, I'm still going to jam it. If they decided to hold the Dismember, then that's fine, but... Alright, 7 ya. Discarded Power Plant Reshaper. Okay. Chalice on 1. Ballista. Choosing not to activate Ballista. They have 4 cards. Why do I have a feeling they have Natural Tron? I mean, it's E-Tron, right? They always have Natural Tron. So we can go Pyromancer, discard Croxa Ragavan. The Ragavan's kind of bad against Ballista anyways. I would bet a lot of money they have Natural Tron, though. Those are 2 pretty good draws, but probably not going to beat Natural Tron. Yeah, obviously. When don't they have Natural Tron, if we're being honest with each other? Endbringer. Okay. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. This is awkward. So I can cast Collected Company. What am I looking to hit? Could also Crime Punishment away the Ballista. I don't think that's really that good, though. I'm not quite there on Croxa. I'm a little bit short. Let's just cast the Company and see where we go. Oh, Grist is pretty good. Okay, I forgot about Grist. So, Grist Croxa, I think? And then we can Grist down the Endbringer. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, they still have Tron and a Ballista, but we can Crime Punishment the Ballista next turn. Although it does Killer Elementals, but... Well, I guess there's a good chance they're just going to Ballista down the Grist, right? So, sacrifice Elemental, kill the Endbringer, play land for turn. I think I'm going to attack with the Pyromancer. It just puts them into, like... Okay, so they're just going to block and shoot the Grist. I wasn't sure if they were going to keep the Ballista, go land 2 counters on it, shoot the Elemental, attack the Grist, and keep the Ballista in play. What's this? Karn. Karn for what? Cage, maybe? So I can't Croxa them? Well, if they get Bridge, we get punishment for the Bridge. We got Tormod's Crypt. Okay, do they also have a blocker? They might have a Dismember. Is there any chance I'm supposed to sack Peatland before combat? It's better if I draw exactly Skelemental, because then I can just send both at Karn and guarantee Karn dies. So I think I'm going to do that. Oh, it seems like they're F6'd. I mean, I was going to make this play anyways, right? Attack both the Karn, and then just play the Pyromancer. The question is, do I discard... What do I discard here? I think I just discard the Crime Punishment in the land. I think that makes sense to me and keep the Force of Vigor. Okay. Magus isn't the worst. So now they're gonna always dust me? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we can just go basic Swamp Magus. Guess I'll draw first. I think I'd rather have basic, yeah, basic Swamp. Alright, go. They have 2 cards. They have 3 mountains. They need a land and a ballista or a dismember. Well, they have the dismember. Holy crap. Their draws have been quite good this game, I will say. They also just have never drawn a land since hitting... Oh, well, okay, never mind, they died. Anything you could do, I can do better. Alright, 3-0. Justice in the world when you beat E-Tron. For the most part, I think that's probably a decent matchup. Like, you don't really care that much about Chalice. This card's really good against them. I mean, they have Ballista, but yeah, for the most part, that match was pretty interesting. So 3-0. Hope you enjoyed the games. See you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Alrighty, YouTube, we're 3-0 here for round number 4. And we're on the play with a 1 land hand. It's quite a bit risky. Opponent didn't reveal a Lurrus Companion. I don't know if I'm supposed to take that into consideration when deciding to mulligan or keep this hand. This hand's so close. I'm gonna risk it, because if this Hierarch doesn't die, we can dash Ragavan and then get a treasure. I mean, obviously we could also just draw land, but yeah, if this Hierarch doesn't die, we can dash Ragavan, get a treasure that way, and then have 4 mana rolled up for company. So, I mean, yeah, this hand's risky, but if this Hierarch lives, it's quite good. I'm probably gonna get punished. Oh. Ooh. Never mind. Although I don't know if this matchup is good or not. Oh, never mind. We have Plague Engineer. Nice. I kind of want to get them to commit stuff to the board before I play Plague Engineer, so what I think I'm going to do is just go Kroxa and then hardcast Ragavan. And then have them put stuff into play, and then I'll jam the Engineer. I don't want them to know I have it quite yet. You know, I want to get some value out of it. Because they do have some removal spells for it, I believe, but... This is definitely not an endurance matchup, let me tell you, but it is a Plague Engineer matchup. We finally found a matchup. I was talking to Twitch chat last night about, like, I was trying to figure out what, there was like one sideboard slot in my, the Esper food deck that I've been working on, and everybody was telling me to play a Plague Engineer, and so I was like, well, what matchup would you ever want Plague Engineer against? It's just not that good. And then, well, play against the Goblins player in the 3-0 bracket, so we take those. We do indeed take those. And they decided to kill the monkey. I was kind of... that actually was definitely a punishment for not playing Plague Engineer there, because they could have just killed the Hierarch. I'm kind of glad they didn't. Because that would have been really bad for me if they killed the Hierarch. Alright, well now I can't mess around, I gotta play Plague Engineer. Main deck Plague Engineer against the Goblin deck is, it's kind of rough. Kind of rough beats for them. Kind of rough beats. Alright, well, your turn. Let's see what they got. So I guess that was a reason to play the Engineer last turn, is if they go Expert my Hierarch and let me have the Ragavan. But that's also a little bit risky on their part. If they kill the Hierarch and then I just kill their Expert, then I get to hit them with Ragavan, so... I can see why they didn't want to do that. Makes sense. Alright, now let's just cast Company. See what we find. Kind of bricked. Definitely bricked. Alright, attack you for 4. For a deck that has 31 Company hits, I feel like we've sort of missed on Company a couple times. Sting Scourger. Okay. Well, I guess I was maybe supposed to play around that and not cast the Company? I don't know. Could have attacked first. Didn't think about that card. I mean, it's not like I can really die from here, right? Realistically, they need to give their thing haste. So I guess what they could do No, because that vial's on 1. They would have to put a Haste Goblin into play, and a Snoop, and a Harbinger. So they would need a 3, a 3, and a 2, which they can't do because they have a vial on 1. If the vial was on 2, they could, but... I wonder how many Sting Scourges they play. Probably not more than 1, right? Just as like a random tutor target. What's this? Goblin Matron. Okay. We're gonna get a Ringleader. Do they have their own Plague Engineer? They can't, because the Engineer's not a Goblin. What am I saying? I don't know. They get a Tarfire. Okay, okay. Well, it's their answer to Plague Engineer. If I draw a land, I'm probably just going to cast Engineer Splinterfright. How about a Clothis? Okay, I'm actually just not going to cast the Plague Engineer this turn. I'm gonna wait until I can maybe get some more stuff, more value out of it. It's gonna be one of those things where like they know about the Engineer, I know about the Tarfire, and we're just gonna play this game as like basically those cards are just kind of trading for each other. But the thing is like I get value out of the way out the door if I just hold on to my Plague Engineer for a little bit, and I don't really think I'm in danger of dying. Just trying to think if I want to bait the Tarfire with the Splinterfright or get the Clothis into play. Because the Splinterfright does also fuel the Kroxa. And honestly, if they want to Tarfire the Splinterfright, I'm okay with that. I think I'd rather play the Splinterfright. Like, if they Tarfire this instead of the Engineer, I think I would happily accept that exchange. And they are choosing to Tarfire it, okay. Maybe they have more than one Tarfire in their deck? Interesting. I didn't expect that to happen, but I'm kind of okay with it. So this is going to be a Ringleader. I would have to imagine, yep. Alright, so the Tarfire is gone. They only hit a Sting Scourger. Alright, I accept. Well, that answers our question about the second Sting Scourger. We weren't sure if they had it or not. Tax. No blocks. I accept. What's this? What is this? Nothing. Bone Crusher Giant. So we know about a Sting Scourger. Alright, I'm gonna cast Plague Engineer. And I'm gonna hold up Stomp. Might look weird to tap the Hierarchs here, but like, I don't want them to randomly just somehow kill a Hierarch and me be forced into a spot where I need to like cast the Bone Crusher Giant then. I don't know. I think it's just like I'm not attacking with the Hierarch, and it's just safer to hold up the lands. All right, they're gonna bounce the Plague Engineer again. Yeah, I was gonna say if they bounce their own Ringleader, I could kill it, but I'm gonna wait on the Bone Crusher Giant, I think, because they're not gonna pay Echo, and they have 2 cards left. I mean, I guess they probably just have another Ringleader, right? I would have to imagine they have another Ringleader. Okay, Sting Scourger down. What do you got? What do you got, Eddie Chang? Alright, Violon 3. Is this Matron? Matron for Ringleader? No, Goblin Chieftain. Okay. This is going to be a Ringleader? Sling Gang Lieutenant. I should probably kill that one, right? No, what if I just kill the Chieftain? I guess I messed up, and I was supposed to... I guess I was supposed to kill the Chieftain with this in response. I forgot about Sling Gang, I just assumed it was a Ringleader. But yeah, because now they can sack the Chieftain to counter the Bone Crusher Giant. So I definitely should have killed the Chieftain in response to their Violon 4. I just, like, in my head, I kind of assumed it was going to be Ringleader, and I just forgot that they could have a sack Eldlin on 4. But, I mean, we're still fine. We go to 12, we play this, they sack these 3, we go to 9, and they have 1 card. So, I think we're okay. Famous last words. Yeah, I just assumed they were going to put in a Ringleader. Sling Gang had not crossed my mind. They're casting their last card. What is it? Nope, never mind. They changed their mind. Land's actually not too bad, because now we can double spell. Alright, so they're going to sack these. We go to 9. Name Goblin. They have 1 card left. We have a Clothis. I think I like our spot. Okay, happens. Choose Goblin. Green, red, black. Go. Alright, your turn, opponent. What you got? Do your worst. So they've already gone through a Tarfire and 2 Stink Scourgers. I don't know how many more answers they have to Plague Engineer. Like, it can't be that many, you know? I don't know. Maybe they have another Tarfire. I would have to imagine those are mostly just tutor targets, but, you know, we'll see. Alright, Violon 3. What you got? Boggart Harbinger. It's dead. It's dead. What you getting? Well, this is going to be their answer to the question of whether or not they have another answer to Plague Engineer. Because if they have it, they're going to get it. And if not, then we're probably good. Goblin Crater Maker. That does answer it. Because it is a 2/2 creature. Alright. Exile Tarfire in case they have the Boggart Auntie. What's that thing called? Wart? W-O-R-T, Boggart Auntie, I think that's what it's called. Alright, Croaxia, your last card. Croaxia, your last card. And then next turn they draw the Crater Maker. Okay. Attack for 4. They go to 15, they draw a Crater Maker, they can kill the Engineer, but I think we are fine with that. Alright, your turn. What are we going to sideboard in? We're going to bring in another Engineer. We're going to bring in probably Punishment. I think so. And probably just cut the Endurances. Yeah, it sounds fine. Is that 4 for 4? Might be 1 over. Not sure. We'll figure it out. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can go Endurance to turn on the Clothis. I'm going to choose not to put at the graveyard. I actually want to keep their graveyard in, so I have food for the Clothos. Oh, I could have just killed them. I could have just grist minus on the ringleader, right? This is 10-13. Oh, they just didn't block. Never mind. Yeah, I should have played the grist pre-combat. I forgot that I had exactly lethal. But they chose not to block anyway, so... They've seen enough. Alright, I would have to imagine Crime Punishment is decent against them. Because you can do it for 1 to hit Vile. And then I think the other good... I guess the problem is a lot of their curve is kind of glutted at 3s in terms of the good cards. Like Chieftain... I don't know. Like, the problem that I have with Crime Punishment is a lot of their stuff gets value on the way out the door anyways. Maybe I just want, like, 2 of them. Call it a day. Because I really don't think Endurance is relevant at all. Ragavan also not great. What if I brought in Collector Oof? Was that crazy? What if I cut Ragavan on the draw and brought in Collector Oof? Just as a way to shut off Vile. I kind of like it, actually. It is pretty good on the draw against Vile, because you can kind of get overwhelmed pretty quickly if they have a Vile start. So I like it. We'll try it. All right, YouTube, we're here for game number 2 against the Goblin Menace. We're on the draw, and we have a very slow hand. I'm gonna mulligan. Well, if we draw lands, this hand is pretty good. I think I'm going to go to 5. Kind of wanted to keep that hand. Okay, this is acceptable. Put back Forest and I think Splinter Fright? Yeah, then we could just go Hierarch into Pyromancer and find some gas that way. I think that makes sense to me. Alright, what you got? What you got, opponent? Stomping Ground, Aether Vial? Noble or Ignoble Hierarch. The other Hierarch. Alright, well I got 1 too. Mountain and Goblin Matron. Tarfire. Tarfire is sad. Man, their Snoop taps for mana. Well, only on their upkeep, though, because the Hierarch, they draw the Hierarch. I think I'm actually just going to get back the other Hierarch. Because the Unearth is likely just going to get discarded to the Pyromancer anyways, and if I draw Company, then putting the Hierarch into play is pretty good. So, I think I like doing that. Alright, so they draw the Hierarch. Okay. Well, if they have the Harbinger, I'm dead, but not much I can do about it. Could have held up mana there, I guess, but maybe instead of casting Unearth to maybe prevent them from going for it, but they'll probably still just go for it. Alright, well, it looks like we're not dead, which is pretty good. I like not being dead. And we know they have another Hierarch in hand, which they may or may not cast. They might not cast it for fear of Plague Engineer, but they're already down 2 Tarfires. So, I don't know, maybe they don't have another answer to Engineer in their hand? It does let them beat down, though, because now they can attack for 4. Alright, we'll take 4. It's fine. I would like to draw a Plague Engineer, please. How about a Wooded Foothills? Probably not going to do it. I am going to cast Pyromancer here, though. Right? Should I cast Grist? Could go Grist, make a token. The only problem with Grist is I then have to chump block. I feel like I'd rather just churn through my deck here. It's kind of close. It's kind of close here. Like, what about the scenario where I just play Grist and they have a removal spell? They just kill the token. I guess I can fetch and hold back the Hierarch. Yeah, okay, maybe that's my best play. Although, digging deeper to Plague Engineer might be more important than getting Grist into play. God, this is really close. We know they're drawing a blank. It's really close. Is there any chance I'm supposed to sack the Hierarch to kill the Snoop? I don't think so. Alright, I changed my mind. I'm going to cast the Pyromancer. I really, really just want to find a Plague Engineer. I don't think we have time for Grist. Okay. I should have attacked there. Yeah, it was just a free point of damage. Leyline of the Void. It's a good one to know about. For potential game 3. I guess they missed a land drop last turn, so maybe the land's not a brick. What do they have? Kiki-Jiki, maybe? Okay. So they're going to copy the Snoop and probably attack with just the copy. And they have a Leyline on top. They have one card we don't know about. Oh, sure. I guess that makes more sense, right? Copy that, attack with the Snoop, take 5. Probably chump block with... No, I'm actually going to take a hit here. Taking a hit kind of sucks, but drawing a Grist makes keeping the Elemental a lot better, because then I can kill the Kiki-Jiki without having to sacrifice the Hierarch or the Pyromancer. So I don't mind taking one hit here. Yeah, that's probably not going to do it. So we could go X equals 1 and kill the Hierarchs, or X equals 2 and kill the Snoops. I mean, it's probably just kill the Snoop and then I lose nothing. Alright, let's go green, black, this. X equals 2. And then I guess we'll attack for 3, hold back the Elemental to chump block. And they have a Leyline of the Void on top. I mean, we're still in this game if we draw an Engineer. Or Company. Company might get us right back into it. But we need to find a good card. It seems like they're out of gas for the most part. Because the best thing they could do with 5 mana last turn was hardcast Kiki-Jiki. And I assume if they had Ringleader, they probably would have played that instead. So. Warren Weirding. I'm going to sacrifice the Pyromancer, actually. Because if I brick, then I get to just flush that thing back. Alright, do I want to go to 6? Their last card's Leyline. I think I do. It's a lot better if I draw a Grist. I mean, I know that I'm going to die to Sling Gang if they draw that now, but I'm probably in a really bad spot if they find Sling Gang anyways, right? I drew an Unearth. So that can allow me to kill the Kiki-Jiki because I can get back Grist. And it also allows me to flash back the Pyromancer too. But would I rather just get back the Pyromancer and, you know what? Like, is Grist good enough by itself? Maybe. Because I could also get back Pyromancer. Like, play my land, get back Pyromancer, have access to a bunch of mana. It's the higher upside line. Yeah, let's do that. I feel like I need more than just a Grist to get back in this game. I don't know, I could be wrong about this. Yeah, see, we got a Grist anyways. So now I can just Crime for 1, kill their Hierarchs, and cut them off black mana when they have a Leyline as their last card. And then I can kill the Kiki-Jiki next turn. Kind of down with that. It does kill my Hierarch, but I think killing theirs is pretty good too. And I'm just not going to attack. Alright, well I know your last card, so... Cutting them off of mana is really nice too, because now if they draw Sling Gang or Ringleader, which are two of their better cards to draw anyways, they just can't cast them, because now they don't have enough mana. And they're out black mana as well. And I can just kill the Kiki-Jiki next turn. This is truly, truly bad if they find exactly Matron, because they can go Matron copy it. And I think that's the one card that punishes me the most for doing this, but for the most part, I think this is better. They have more 4-drops in the deck than they do exactly Matrons, so that's my line of thinking. Okay. Sacrifice Elemental, kill Kiki Jiki, play Hierarch, attack for 3. They go to 11. We know one of their cards is a leyline that they can't cast. I think we're doing okay. I think we're doing okay for the most part. And they don't even have a 4-drop because they would have just played it, obviously. Okay, well that should probably seal it. I'm going to activate Grist first in case I hit a second Grist. Are we about to be 4-0 with Jun Company? Yeah, I think so. Seems like we are about to be 4-0 with Jun Company. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. They discarded lane line, that's fine. They go to 8. Yeah. I think this is a little too much for them to overcome. Just a little bit. Okay, let's make a thing with Grist. Opponent says GG's. Alright, black, black, red, red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep all the creatures for Grist. Alright. Croaks you. 4-0. 4-0 with Jun Company, huh? I wasn't sure if this deck was a meme or not, but you know, you never know. You always got to try it out for yourself, and I think we can maybe confirm that this deck might not be as memey as I thought it would be. Alright, attack you for 5, go to 3. Alright, they've had enough. 4-0. That was a long match, probably got to edit a little bit of that out, but that was fun. Yeah, I think for the most part, I mean, obviously we got lucky and drew the engineer game 1, and they had a hard time fighting through that, but I don't know, for the most part, I think this is a close matchup. Once we kind of get the ball rolling, I mean, they have draws that are hard for us to beat because we don't have a ton of early interaction, but once we get an engineer going, and should be pretty easy from there. So, we're 4-0. Let's see if we can get another trophy. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, YouTube, here it is. We're 4-0, all the marbles on the line. And it's a pretty good hand to open up with when you're 4-0. Mana Dork, Seasoned Pyromancer, Company, Croaks. This hand just kind of has it all. Whew. This hand's a heater. Definitely a heater. We'll say that. Alright. Opponent also kept 7. Let's see what we are up against. Grove of the Burn Willows. Into Lightning Bolt. Interesting. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out. Grove of the Burn Willows Lightning Bolt, huh? Okay. Basic Forest. A Braid. Okay. All my stuff is dead. Maybe some sort of Eldrazi deck? Not really sure. I'm going to cast Pyromancer. I'm going to discard Company, or excuse me, Proxa and Endurance. Keep the Company. And then I have 2 good things to do next turn. I can either hardcast Company or just flashback Croxa. Another Pyromancer's pretty good. So we get all the juice flowing here. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, it is some sort of Eldrazi deck. Okay. Well, they're gonna Thought-Knot Sear me and take the Company, but we have the Croxa, so it's not that bad. That's why I wanted to discard the Croxa to the Pyromancer, So we just have a really good turn next turn, no matter even if they had something like that. All right, red-green Eldrazi, huh? I feel like this is probably a good matchup for us. I'm just going to play the Foothill so I take less damage. Get a basic mountain. Red, red, black, black. I will keep Endurance, because that's probably the thing that I would want to unearth the most. If we did draw Unearth. I guess I'm a little bit worried about something like Eldrazi Obligator, which is something they could have. Because they can steal my Kroxa. That would not be good. Discarded Chandra. Okay, your turn. Can't say I've seen red-green Eldrazi before. It's an interesting deck. Alright, they have a Hierarch. Ooh. Alright, let's go green, black, red. I think I'm going to Grist the Thought-Knot Seer before attacks. I think this makes sense. Alright, kill the Thought-Knot Seer, draw a card. Drew Endurance. Alright, let's go to combat, see what they do. I don't want to leave back the Elemental in case they have the Obligator. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think I like leaving back the Elemental. Just to protect the Grist a little bit. I mean, if they have Obligator, they can steal the Kroxa and still kill the Grist. But they would have to... Alright, Abrade the Seasoned Pyromancer, sure. But they would have to send both at Grist, so it kind of like makes them... It kind of puts them in a slightly awkward position, I think. So that's why I like leaving back the Elemental. I don't think the 1 damage matters too much. What's this? What is this? Was this the Obligator? The Obligator that I've been fearing all along? Might be. Also might not be. Rule Spellbreaker. Okay, okay. So they're going to attack Grist. Alright, Grist is dead. I mean, we still have a Kroxa, and they they basically have nothing left. So I think we're still pretty good. Let's attack first. I think I'm just going to play my hand out. Attack first. Leave back the Elemental just in case. You never know what weird stuff they could have. I don't... well, the 1 damage kind of matters, right? Because it puts them from... yeah, maybe that was dumb. Yeah, I should have attacked with the Elemental. I'm going to just not shuffle their stuff back in. They got some good cards in the graveyard. Maybe shuffling is better for things something like Klothys? Ooh, that's a lot of gas. Alright, I feel like this game should be over. Like, what do they have to draw to get out of this? Like, Bloodbraid Elf into... Yeah, I don't even know. Bloodbraid Elf into the world. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. Okay, they've had enough. I got game number 1, and I'm not quite sure what to sideboard. I mean, I think Endurance can probably get swapped for Magus of the Moon. And other than that, maybe actually Plague Engineer is pretty good too, right? I don't really want Oof, I don't want Harpooner, I don't think I want the Force of Vigors or the Crime Punishment. Splinter Fright gets pretty big, so I want to keep that. I could cut a Ragavan. Well, I kind of want to cut both Ragavans. There's stuff like Matter Reshaper. Ragavan's just kind of medium on the draw in general. I want to keep all my Bone Crusher Giants because they have Mana Dorks. What don't I want? I don't really know. All my cards are pretty good. Maybe Clothis, because it's kind of slow. But, I mean, I could see situations where you just trade a bunch of resources and Clothis is pretty good. I'm just going to shave a monkey. That just sounded kind of weird when I said that. Shave a monkey. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Pony mulligans to 6. We got a hand that's, like, not bad, but really slow. I think on the draw we can afford to mulligan at least once. Well, this hand's a lot worse. My issue with keeping a hand like this is they have a lot of answers to mana dorks. They showed us a Braid and Bolt, and I feel like there's a decent chance they also have Bone Crusher Giant. So this hand basically has to draw back-to-back lands in order to have a chance. That being said, I also don't really want to go to 5. So let's keep it. I'll put back Magus on the draw. This might be a bit of a risky keep, and it probably is, but... Alright, step 1, acquired. Step 1, draw land. This hand is decent against turn 2 Thought-Knots here, because that means they're not killing our Hierarch. So if they just go like Temple Thought-Knots here, I guess they just take Engineer. But then we can go like Pyromancer, discard these two. Eldrazi Obligator, okay. So attack for 4? Well, I'm kind of down with that. The question is, do I name Eldrazi or Goblin? I think I named Goblin. I think I just want to Stone Rain them. Alright, no blocks. Because then I can just stop this next turn. Yeah, let's name Goblin, I think. Well, hold on. Cuts them off red mana too? I mean, cutting them off red mana is pretty important. Alright, I'm gonna name Goblin. Is it better to name Goblin or Shaman? I'll name Goblin. Not really sure. Oh, wait. Is Bloodbraid Elf a Shaman? I should maybe name Shaman. What creature type is Bloodbraid Elf? Or is it I think it's a Berserker. I should probably check. Hold on. Bloodbraid Elf. I hope it's not a Shaman. It's an Elf Berserker. Okay. Yeah. Just take their 2 for 1? No, I'm gonna take it, because I have the Bone Crusher to kill the Obligator anyways, and I want the Engineer to be able to trade with Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher. Drew a Ragavan, which is not bad. So we can go Dash Ragavan, attack for 3, and then we can also hold up Stomp. Let's kind of play a little bit defensively here. Reality Smasher, huh? I'm curious. I want to see. Okay, never mind. There used to be a bug where, with something like Tibalt Cosmic Imposter, it allowed you to cast the Eldrazi without having to pay the colorless mana. Oh, but this doesn't specify. It doesn't say paying without, mana of any color. Okay, never mind. So that wouldn't count. Yeah, there used to be some weird bugs like that. Alright, that's a Smasher. That's fine. They attack with both. I'll just block Smasher and stomp the Obligator. They are attacking with both, which kind of makes me think they have another Smasher. Which I guess is not great for me, because I don't really have another answer to a second Smasher quite yet, and my graveyard's not stock enough to play this Kroxa. So the Smasher could be bad for me. So what I kind of want to do is Pyromancer discard. What we could do is go Dash Ragavan and then play the Pyromancer. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what my best setup is against the second Smasher. 3, 4, 5. I could cast Bone Crusher plus Hardcast Ragavan and then double block the Smasher. That's actually probably my best setup against exactly Smasher, right? Yeah, and then I could just Pyromancer next turn. Okay, let's just do that. Because I am a bit worried about a second Smasher. Maybe I'm, like, concerning myself a little bit too much with that. But I will happily double block a Smasher here if they play it. Unless they leave up a red, and then they might be able to Lightning Bolt in combat. That would be a little awkward, but... I mean, I kind of have to take this block, right? I don't think I can really race the Smasher. Alright, they didn't have a Bolt. I kind of think they didn't have a Bolt because there was a turn where I hit them with Ragavan that they had mana up, I believe, that they would have just cast the Bolt. And now I think I will just go... I think I'd rather have the Pyromancer, or the Hierarch in my graveyard for the Kroxa. So I think I'd rather just do it this way. Okay. That also gets their last card, which is pretty good if it's a third Smasher. It was a Temple. Alright. Now I'm feeling pretty good because even if they draw Smasher, we just take it, go to 4, and then we can put a Kroxa into play, and then we're at 4 and we don't even die to Bolt. They did draw a Smasher. Alright, alright, alright. I'm at 4. It's fine. I accept going to 4 life. Because now we can just Kroxa them. Although we lose to Obligator. Red, black, black, red. Not much I can do about that, right? 3, 4, 5. And I'm choosing not to sacrifice the fetch land. Because I cannot afford to go to 3. So we have to dodge Obligator here, basically. If there's no point in not attacking, right? Because I'm dead to Obligator either way. I can beat the 4th Smasher if I leave back both Elementals, though, and it's only 1 more damage. So it's 6. 3, they go to 7. Discard 4. Block there, still take 4. Okay, yeah, this should be good. Assuming they don't draw the Obligator. Because this allows me, if they draw the 4th Smasher, I can go block a Smasher, double block another Smasher, take 3, go to 1. Just gonna triple block it, right? Because they have Dismember. 7. Because if they have Dismember, and I only block with Kroxa, I take 4. If they have Dismember and I block like this, I take 3 and go to 1. But there's no difference with the extra Elemental, I don't think, right? Because if they cast Dismember, they're still just dead, because they have to pay 4 life, go to 3, and then the Pyromancer plus the Exalted trigger kills them. Oh. I guess that kind of changes things. So that's a reason to maybe keep the Elemental. But my attacks don't really change, right? So it's still 3 either way, whether I keep an Elemental or not. Alright, so they go to 4. Alright, go. So I guess I could have left back 1 more Elemental. I drew a land. Okay. Yeah, I could have left back 1 more Elemental. 2, 3. That's not enough to get back Kroxa. Alright, deck. Don't draw Smasher. Also did Obligator. Did the Smasher, did Obligator. This has been a really tight game. Did you a Thought-Knot Seer? Okay. Okay, okay, hold. Hold. Got it. Got the 5-0. Feels good. Feels good. Sacrifice. Destroy. Feels good. Oof. Woo! That game was tight. That was a nice one. Again, as I've said on the video series in the past, if you 5-0, you got to make sure you post it to Twitter. So I will do that. And after I get this nice little screenshot, we'll wrap everything up here. Alright, what did I think of the deck? I mean, I can't argue with the results. We did 5-0, so we're also third on the leaderboard now. I can't argue with the results. It felt pretty good. I'm kind of not sure on, like, the Splinter Fright. I kind of wanted that to be a third Ragavan, and potentially the Engineer. I think this deck should be playing 4 Ragavans. So they could maybe cut those for 2 more Ragavans, and everything else felt pretty good. The sideboard seemed good. You might want to move the Engineer to the sideboard over, like, the third Crime Punishment. 3 Crime plus 3 Force is a lot, so I don't know if you need all of that. But anyways, that was a lot of fun. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way to the end, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.